Just a lot of punching down, practicing, hitting below my knees, and a lot of speed.
He warming up.
We're
now.
sparring.
That's what we need.
Truthfully, I just feel like our generation got to step up and start really like doing their homework.
If I find out anything, I'm going to beat your ass and I'm going to beat Jadon Love ass.
When a legend like Oscar De La Hoya points his finger at the new up-and-coming champion of the new generation, Gervonta Tank Davis, it's about more than just a fight. He's issuing a direct and public challenge to fight between two eras. It's a gauntlet thrown down to test Tank's very claim to being the face of the sport. De La Hoya is daring him to do what modern fighters won't, break his legendary record of 5 title fights in 1 year. This is more than a call-out, it's a question of legacy. And the Golden Boy is demanding an answer.
This is a dangerous fight for Jake. Gervonta's technical expertise, his speed, his precision, the fact that he's a counter striker are dangerous facts that make me think that Jake's really got to lock in for this one. On the contrary, if Gervonta feels a couple big Jake Paul shots, it's going to be detrimental.
I think this is going to be one of those ones that gets a real good racial split. I think it's going to be some real black versus white shit, dude.
Hey, Jake's scared, man. Unboxing. I saw it in Jake's face. Jake's scared, bro. Say a center in Miami, Florida. More importantly, Tank saw him. Gervonta is an animal for real.
I gotta ask you, Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. Does Davis have a chance?
Gervonta is a great boxer, but he ain't gonna do.
So you got Jake Paul by knockout, or?
No, I don't got anybody, but I don't think
he's just too small.
It just. I don't want to beat up somebody that small. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
What do you think of the fight?
I don't want to lose to somebody that. There's no point in the fight. It's a great fight, actually.
You think
I'm
it's
not
a good
hating
fight?
on the fight, but my thoughts on it is let's watch and see what happens.
Oscar De La Hoya is not content to let his records gather dust. De La Hoya publicly challenged Gervonta Davis to break his personal record. 5 world title fights in the span of just 12 months.
And that's what it takes, keep him busy. Tank Davis is not the face of boxing because he doesn't fight often. He fights once a year. And he's probably one of the best talents in the world. I love Tank Davis. I love watching him fight. I love when he goes in the ring and just demonstrates power and speed and he doesn't give a shit. I love that. But he has to fight more often. We want to see Tank fight 3-4 times a year. Tank Davis, I dare you to break my record. 5 world title fights in 1 year. Let's go.
What do you think of Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis? I know on Instagram you called it a circus.
Yeah, boxing is slowly turning into the WWE. That's what I think.
Does Tank Davis have a chance?
Yes, but
yeah?
I don't even want to talk about it. Don't ask me questions like that again.
In today's era, where a top-tier fighter is lucky to get in the ring twice a year, the demand sounds like madness. It's a challenge meant to provoke, to question the very heart and activity of a modern champion. De La Hoya framed it as a call to return to the golden age of boxing, an era where the best fought the best, constantly and without hesitation. But to truly understand the weight of this dare, you have to travel back in time to a year when the Golden Boy himself forged that very record in fire. And what happened in that year would set a standard that seems untouchable today.
I wouldn't have loved to fight Pacquiao again because he kicked my ass. Sorry. But yeah, there were many fighters out there who I would have loved to fight 2 or 3 times.
You don't. So you had enough of Pacquiao, is what you're saying?
Oh, trust me. Right when I walked into the ring, I had enough of Pacquiao.
You thought that when you got in the ring?
Oh, well, Rich, this documentary, my gosh, it's sad too at the end because it shows the whole Pacquiao situation. I was getting beat up in training camp when preparing for Pacquiao. So I knew that was the end already for me because Pacquiao was just coming up.
Yeah.
Pacquiao was like the star in the making. But what really screwed up my whole training for that fight was I started drinking heavy during training camp and nobody knew. Oh yeah. I mean, it gets... So I was literally a dead man walking into the ring.
The year was 1997, and Oscar De La Hoya was not just a fighter, he was a phenomenon. He embarked on a campaign that is now the stuff of legend. It began with a showdown against the pound-for-pound defensive wizard, Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker. It was a fight many thought he'd lose, yet he walked away with the title. He didn't stop there. He went on to defend his championship against the era's top contenders, one after another. He faced David Kamau, then the legendary Hector Macho Camacho, followed by Wilfredo Rivera. Each fight was a high-stakes event, a test against a different style, a different threat. He was a champion who acted like one, proving his mettle against anyone willing to step up. This historic run cemented his legacy.
Jake Paul versus Tank Davis, they just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank, it's over with.
If you do fight, what weight would it be at?
195.
Oh, wow. So he would go all the way from 40 to 95?
Yeah, I mean, it would be an exhibition.
Okay. So what does that mean? Is that 3-minute rounds?
Yeah, 10 3-minute rounds.
Jake Paul, you say you want to be a world champion. You say you want to take this sport serious. Then take it serious. This is not a popularity contest. I'm actually praising Jake Paul here to take this serious because I really truly feel if he fights the right fights and takes the right path to that world title, he can actually get there. I'm not sure because it's up to him if he can win it, but he can get there. But he's not gonna get there.
But De La Hoya's challenge conveniently ignores the brutal reality of the landscape Gervonta Davis operates in today, in late 2025. This isn't just about a fighter's willingness, it's about the modern champion's dilemma. The division is swarming with undefeated sharks like the masterful technician Shakur Stevenson and the undisputed champion Devin Haney. You have the ghost of Vasily Lomachenko still haunting the top ranks.
That video of you and Devin Haney sparring, people were going crazy over it. He was just a teen when that happened. How do you feel like his boxing skills have improved since?
I think he was best on his game when he was that age. I think he was like 17. I wasn't that much older than him. I think we probably like 3 years older, apart. But I feel as though he slowed down. All that partying and drinking and stuff slowed him down.
Thank you so much.
Floyd, when you think about the fighters who are fighting now, can you give me your 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 when it comes to the lightweight? Who you would put where?
As of right now, the two guys, the biggest puncher, I feel at the 135 will probably be Gervonta Tank Davis. But the most skillful fighter at 135 will be hands down Shakur Stevens.
You know Vasily Lomachenko, the boxer? Yeah. His dad made him do Ukrainian dance for 2 years, made him stop boxing. And now if you watch him fight, his footwork is insane. Like he's standing in front of a guy and then he'll like switch and throw a jab and circle off to his left and catch him again, then circle off to his right. The guy does not know where the fuck he is. Yeah.
Getting a contract signed with just one of these rivals can take a full year of political maneuvering and network warfare. De La Hoya's demand isn't just a challenge, it's a fantasy, and it purposefully ignores the complex business that boxing has become. And that business has fundamentally changed.
Truthfully, I just feel like our generation got to step up and start really like doing their homework.
But don't you believe that when it's all said and done, they will be able to respect it?
For sure. Because what they really respect is.
Yeah.
That's what they like. I disagree with that logic too. Like, I'm just like a different type of person to where I understand like boxing is a sport. So guys gonna go in there and they gonna lose. And I know I was just popping a lot of shit about being undefeated earlier. So they gonna come back and try to talk about that. But I'm like being for real on this. Boxing, one guy has to lose. And when you go against the best, and you are the best too, but somebody was just a little bit better, you gonna lose. So it comes with the sport. All the greats have losses. Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Tommy Hearns. They was in the era where everybody fought everybody, so everybody had losses. So truthfully, I don't think boxing should be a way where guys just hang on to this fucking undefeated logic that has to fucking keep going, and everybody only likes the undefeated fighters.
The reason champions no longer fight 5 times a year isn't because they are less courageous. It's because the entire financial model has been rebuilt. De La Hoya's era was funded by network giants like HBO, which paid champions handsomely to stay active and build their brand.
When two personalities come into the ring together and create create the perfect storm. And that's exactly what they're gonna do on April 22nd, is create the perfect storm. And yeah, a lot of guys obviously know I'm with my guy, you know? And this is the reason why we're gonna bring back those glory days, those big pay-per-view glory days, because of this guy right here, Ryan Garcia. So April 22nd, these two guys here are gonna battle it out. They're gonna fight, and I can't do any talking whatsoever because I'm not gonna fight for them, and they gotta do the job themselves. But that's the beauty. They wanted this fight. Nobody else. Ryan Garcia wanted this fight years ago. And now it's here. April 22nd, so...
Behind the scenes of the Garcia-Davis showdown, a battle was being waged. The biggest point of contention, a detail that many believe decided the fight before it even began, was a ruthless contractual term known as the rehydration clause.
Chilling, ready for the big fight, and it's on. Everybody made weight, but you know what's crazy is that the weight was never ever an issue. Ryan Garcia made it with no problem, but it goes to show you the character of Gervonta's team. No confidence whatsoever. Think about it. You got to put all these clauses and this and that and rehydration clause, and to make sure that Ryan doesn't, you know, gain a single ounce after certain pounds. Like, come on, guys, no confidence whatsoever.
This clause stipulated that Ryan Garcia could not weigh more than a certain limit on the morning of the fight, long after the official weigh-in. For a fighter who was already draining himself to make the catch weight, this was a devastating blow.
I almost had his ass in the second, but, you know, I was too weak. I knew I was going to lose in the back room. I had no power. I had no mind. I was dehydrated. It was really bad. I should actually die cutting that weight. I should have. But God protected me because I was blistering out of my mouth. I had no spit. It hurt every day to make that weight. I shook. I was shaking in the bed like shit was crazy.
It was designed to leave him depleted, to strip away his natural advantages in size and power. Many insiders saw this as a classic move, a strategic masterstroke pulled from the playbook of Davis's mentor. It ensured that Tank would be facing a diminished version of his opponent. The clause worked to perfection. Garcia looked like a shadow of himself in the ring, and Davis secured the victory. But it was what happened after the final bell that exposed a deep crack in the foundation of Golden Boy Promotions.
Do you ever think about the Tank fight, or is that just in the past?
I mean, what can I do? I did everything I could to try to propel boxing forward. That shit was boring. You know, I took a rehydration clause where you can't gain more than 10 pounds after the weight. I literally, I stepped into the ring with a separated rib, and this is not an excuse, but I was severely dehydrated, so anything I got touched with affected me in the ring when I was sparring. It is what it is, but I still said to myself, I already committed to this. I said I'm gonna do it, and that's when I'm gonna do it.
In the moments after Ryan Garcia suffered the first loss of his career, he needed his team, his promoter, his mentor. But when Garcia walked into the post-fight press conference to face the world's media, one person was conspicuously absent: Oscar de la Hoya. The fallout was immediate and brutal. Garcia publicly called out his promoter, speaking of feeling abandoned. The bond between fighter and promoter seemed to shatter overnight.
We are extremely excited and proud that Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis proved that they're pay-per-view stars, and it's amazing how doing over 1 million homes it's almost unheard of. So it's incredible to be, and humbling to, once again, Golden Boy being part of record-breaking numbers, and that's what we do.
I mean, that's just part of just me not, you know, being as sharp as I could be. I just didn't really throw anything, to be honest. I mean, I was just throwing jabs and moving around. I just didn't feel there, you know, didn't feel there at all. And, you know, it wasn't a part of our game plan at all. Derek had a great game plan. There was a lot of opportunities there, especially when Rollies is going back. I just didn't let my hands go in any way, shape, or form. That was simple as that.
This public feud couldn't have come at a worse time for De La Hoya, adding another layer to his potential motives. the fight for corporate survival.
If Ryan Garcia loses to Tank Davis, that doesn't mean it's the end of Ryan Garcia's career. But that may mean that it's the end of big fights for Golden Boy Promotions. Let's see what happens.
I do want to clarify why Bernard Hopkins and I weren't at the post-fight press conference. First of all, Bernard Hopkins was accused during the weigh-in of having testosterone cream on his hands and touching Gervonta Davis when he only wanted to help him because he was going to fall off the stage. So PBC, Gervonta's promoter, banned him from everything. He couldn't get inside the ring. He couldn't do anything during the promotion. And so as for myself, my security team told me, boss, we got to get the out of here because I received death threats. You guys don't know this. I received death threats throughout the whole week, and they just said it was simply too dangerous, so we got out of there.
Golden Boy Promotions has been on the back foot for years. First, they lost their generational cash cow, Canelo Alvarez. Then their relationship with their next big star, Ryan Garcia, imploded in the most public way imaginable. This leaves Golden Boy without a flagship fighter to headline major pay-per-views.
Let's take a trip down memory lane. So 10 years ago, almost to the day, I had several traders in my office. Douches. My company, Golden Boy Promotions, built all the top PBC fighters, including Errol Spence, Deontay Wilder, the Charlo brothers, Danny Garcia, Abner Mares, Leo Santa Cruz, the list goes on. But these disloyal douches in my office waited for my fighters' contracts to expire, and they took them over to the new startup promotional company called PBC. Hundreds of millions of dollars were raised, and PBC tried to take over the entire boxing industry. And they failed miserably. All the fighters they stole from us were on track to have Hall of Fame careers with the guidance of Golden Boy. And now look at them. They fight once every 3 years. PBC ruined their careers. It is a sinking ship over there. Karma takes a long time, but it always comes around.
He's very insecure, Oscar. You know, he can't really take anything back. So he can slag me off for years on Twitter, and I've never really said anything. And I just made a comment about what someone asked me about his behaviour around Ryan Garcia, and I just gave my opinion, and he threw his toys out the front. He thinks that maybe I'm trying to poach Ryan Garcia. I've never had any conversations with Ryan Garcia. I've never had any conversations with Lupe about signing him. So I guess in the Ryan Garcia lane, I'm not in it. But I'm swerving in every other lane, so watch the out.
Is it a coincidence that De La Hoya's obsession with Gervonta Davis, the sport's current box office king, has intensified? His provocations might not just be about legacy or revenge. They could be a desperate business move to attach his company's name to the biggest star possible. A fight for relevance in a world where he no longer holds the top cards. Looming over every negotiation, every press conference, and every social media post is the shadow of one man, Floyd Mayweather Jr. The rivalry between De La Hoya and Mayweather is legendary, a bitter feud that defined an era and culminated in one of the highest-grossing fights of all time. De La Hoya lost that fight, and it seems he never truly got over it.
That you beat Floyd in that fight. Sure. Obviously, that might have been one of the last fights that I've been to. I was at that fight. Okay. Why do you feel you won that fight?
You know, when you're a fighter inside the ring, when that final bell rings, you know it in your heart, in your gut, and physically, if you won or you lost. You just feel it. It's a sensation. And I just felt it.
Right.
You know, whether I was wrong or whether I'm right, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I fought against the very best in Floyd Mayweather. Younger, in his prime, just, you know, undefeated. And I was over the hill, tons of injuries. So I was pretty proud with what I accomplished that night. So maybe I was convincing myself that I won, but I did feel it physically and mentally that I did enough.
Gervonta Davis is not just another champion, he is Floyd's hand-picked protege, the heir to the TMT empire. Every move De La Hoya makes against Tank is an indirect shot at Floyd. By challenging Davis's activity, he's challenging the modern boxing business model that Mayweather perfected. This isn't just boxing promotion, it's a proxy war. It's De La Hoya's chance to score a victory against his old nemesis. This complex web of motives has left the boxing world completely divided.
Who would you say currently is the face of boxing?
You still have to crown Canelo Alvarez the face of boxing, but Saturday night, you're going to see kind of like the passing of the torch. The winner of this fight Saturday will become the face of boxing. There's no doubt about it. If Gervonta wins in a spectacular fashion, he's the face of boxing. If Ryan wins in a dramatic fashion, then he's the face of boxing. So it can go either way.
Is Oscar De La Hoya a promoter or simply a provocateur? It's impossible to ignore that De La Hoya is a man who has fought his own share outside the ropes, a life of incredible highs and very public lows.
Big figure in the world of boxing right now that it seems like you're also at some days at odds with, and that's with Turkey. Al-Ashik, it's actually only because you said something about Canelo and Bud's fight is starting in a day, and then he said Oscar's making that up. Talk to me about that. What was that whole thing about?
No, so I read somewhere that the fight was taking place during the day.
Okay.
So I think I repeated it on Clapback, or I mentioned it on Clapback. Yeah, that was it. But no, me and Turkey are cool.
Because you guys work together.
He's doing great things for boxing. What he's doing is bringing more visibility to the sport, you know, mainstream media and all that. And so it's great for the sport, man. I love man, I will die for boxing.
You think boxing needed somebody like him?
I think boxing has always had people come in with a lot of money and try to change the sport and saying that they're the savior and this and that. But look, what Turkey Al-Sheikh is doing, he has passion. Right. That's the difference with all the other businessmen that have come in with a lot of money and try to change everything. I think the fact that Turkey has the passion for the sport, he might be onto something.
He's a real fight fan.
He's a fight fan. He loves, he bought Ring magazine from me.
Right.
That's how much he loves the sport. So imagine that.
Right.
Imagine that. I think that what Turkey Al-Sheikh is doing is just, it's good. It can't be bad. It's great for boxing. I think that making those big matchups, giving the fighters a platform, an opportunity, you know, making the tough fights happen, you know, because he's throwing money at him. I think it's a great thing.
Before you guys, you know, developed a rapport, you were kind of had this energy like, man, nobody's coming into this sport to change it. So what was your biggest misconception of him after like having a real conversation with him? What were you surprised about?
I think there was no misconception. I think it was, I think sitting down and talking to him and knowing the passion he has for boxing, it's actually pretty admirable. I like that.
Some view his constant presence in the media and his provocative statements as the actions of a man who needs the spotlight, a way to stay relevant in a sport that defines his very identity.
Saw your old pal Oscar De La Hoya's videos of him dancing in.
Unfortunately, yes, I did see those. Yes, and a new one came out today. It's yeah.
I didn't see it.
Wow.
It was for cancer awareness, apparently. It's for a good cause.
What's that?
His videos were to raise awareness about cancer. It was for a good cause.
He definitely did that. He raised some awareness.
I just wanted to ask
They believe he is using Gervonta Davis's name to generate clicks, a master of staying in the headlines.
Can you blame a man for taking that opportunity? Because this is prize fighting, right? It's about making money and securing your family. Can you fault him for that?
It's two sides of that. Like,
okay.
It just depends. Like, as a fighter, just because I had a draw with somebody, for me, I may run it back. But in a business aspect, if you run it back and you lose to Lamont, and then the Jake Paul fight is presented, you may not make as much money, or the fight may not be as lucrative as it was before you lost. So as a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man
Your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
Fighter with my integrity.
Yeah, but isn't there a price for everything, Shakur? Like, even if you had a draw with somebody and you were offered 10 times more than you ever, I don't know what the number is, but it's a lot more than he's ever made. You think you might consider doing the same thing, right?
I would, but you gotta also realize, I know that it's not going nowhere. Like the fight ain't gonna go nowhere. Like say, cause if I really believe in myself, and I wholeheartedly think like if we fight again, I'm gonna win this fight.
That fight still be there around the corner.
After I beat this motherfucker, where you at?
Yeah.
The fight still there. It's not gonna go nowhere. But if I have a 50-50 thought process to where it's like, yeah, I got doubt in my brain, I may be like, all right, fuck it.
In his case, it might be that he's tired of fighting anyway. He's leaning towards retiring anyway.
Let's cash out.
So he's just going to get that money.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Adding to the confusion are De La Hoya's own wildly contradictory statements about Gervonta Davis. One day, he's telling the world that the winner of a Garcia-Davis fight will be the undisputed face of boxing. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, he'll do a complete 180 and dismissively claim that Davis is not the face of boxing. This constant shifting of the narrative is baffling.
How is training for something like this? Obviously, smaller guy. How was this in the training aspect, Jake?
Yeah, there's a lot of punching down, practicing, hitting below my knees, and a lot of speed.
He warming up.
We're
now.
sparring.
That's what we need.
We're sparring.
Warm up.
Some 8-year-olds. I got the 8-year-olds in there.
If I find out anything, I'm gonna beat your ass and I'm gonna beat Jaden Love ass. On my mama, I'm gonna beat both of y'all ass. On my mama. And he laughing. He know. He laughing.
What are you talking about?
What
does he have to do with this?
Let anything. You know what I'm talking about. Let anything. Nah, I don't have to say it right now. Don't worry about it. I don't gotta say it up here. Let anything happen, and I'ma show you and him. Bet. Nothing.
Is it a sign of genuine indecisiveness, or is it a calculated tactic to keep everyone off balance? By both elevating and diminishing Davis, De La Hoya keeps himself at the center of the conversation, manipulating the storyline like a master puppeteer.
Hey! Jake scared, man. Unboxing. I saw it in Jake's face. Jake scared, bro. Say a center in Miami, Florida. More importantly, Tank saw. Gervonta is an animal for real. He's from B-More. All the games he plays, how he's wired, how he thinks, is not how Jake thinks. Jake is a showman. On top of that, in the eyes of Tank, Jake saw a fighter. First, he looked at him to see, let me see his reach. Remember when he tapped under his arm? Let me see if I can touch him, see his reach with his stance. Jake is giving too much away. Then he pushed him to see how he is emotionally. He checked him out physically. Now he's checking him out emotionally, see if he's rattled. See, when it's all said and done, the whole talking shit goes out the window. Jake's scared. And let me tell you this too. Tank and Jake, and I'm looking at him, Tank can reach him too. He reached Ryan Garcia. He reached Barrios. I was like, he ain't gonna be able to reach him. He knows he's gonna reach him.
So where does this leave Gervonta Davis? He stands at a monumental crossroads, caught in a game being played by legends of a bygone era. On one path, he can ignore the noise, continue on the lucrative but less active road paved by the new boxing economy, making smart business decisions to protect his undefeated record and maximize his earnings against the sharks of the division.
I can't really say too much right now. I don't want to say too much, but I definitely want to, put on a great show come November the 14th and make sure that I, show him what I'm about.
What do you think is going to happen in the fight, genuinely?
What I think? You gotta wait and see.
Yeah, you're boring as fuck, man. My whole family was texting me. I just want to apologize to the audience for this guy. Like, I'm not always the one that has to sell the fights. My whole family texting me.
I kick ass for real. What you do?
On the other, there's De La Hoya's impossible challenge, a path of immense risk, but one that leads to a different kind of reward. Legacy. The choice is his. Is he a modern superstar, content with his place in the current landscape? Or is there a part of him that wants to be a legend, a fighter for the ages?
Let me tell you something that you either don't know or not willing to admit. After November 14th, there is a huge possibility that Gervonta Tank Davis will be the biggest name in the boxing world. And number two, he could quite possibly be every boxing fan's hero. Though Jake Paul is definitely appreciated by the boxing world when it comes to what he is giving to the sport, especially women's boxing. But Jake Paul, the fighter, people are over his shit. And if Gervonta Tank Davis stops that, knocking out Jake Paul, he will become a boxing hero.
The clock is ticking and the entire boxing world is watching. So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.